viewers, my name's Kara. I'm your host for Tuesdays here on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we're talking about what we do or how we react when people buy into the stereotypes. At least that's how I nicknamed this topic. The full topic, as asked, as typed, will be in the description of this video, as always. But essentially, the question is, what we do when we come across people in the pagan community or in the witchcraft community, whatever community we consider ourselves to be in. I consider myself to be both, or part of both, also both. Anyway, both sides of that coin. What do we do when we encounter people in those communities who buy into the stereotypes, or in other words, who believe that they can really do what we describe as Harry Potter type magic, or what I often describe as special effects movie type magic. Things that when we are approached by non-pagans, non-witches, people outside the community, and they say like, oh, what, so you fly around on a broom and you like wave a magic wand, turn somebody into a frog, and we're like, no, that's just in the movies, that's not really what we do. I don't know if those are exact examples, but things like that. What do we do when or if we encounter people within the community who truly believe that they can do that type of magic? How does that affect us? Do we think that it makes the stereotype more prevalent? And, does it make it harder for us because there's people out there claiming, yes, we can do these things, and then there's us saying, like, no, we can't, that's not what it is. Thoughts surrounding that. So, firstly, I will say I cannot fly a broom. That does not mean that I don't have one and that I don't use it for magical purposes, but I cannot, not just that I do not, but I cannot fly it around in the sky. I wish I could. I really wish I could do that. That would be awesome. I would have to buy goggles because my eyes are really sensitive, and I'm sure it would be very windy and they would be very watery, and I don't want bugs in them. But I would love to be able to do that. However, that is not something I can do. I cannot wave my magic wand and turn a person into a frog. That can only happen in the movies. Again, I don't know if that is the specific kind of stuff that we're talking about. But I will also say, so things like that are outside the realm of what is physically or naturally possible. We talk about magic works within natural law. So we can cause things to change. We can cause changes to occur according to our will, which is one of the ad-libbed, paraphrased definitions of magic that float around. But we can only cause changes to occur in accordance with our will that are physically possible within natural law. So I cannot turn a person into a frog because a person is not physically capable of physically transforming into a frog. I don't know if there are really shapeshifters out there who can do that. I've been watching a lot of Supernatural. I know a lot of you are also Supernatural fans. Shapeshifters are a thing within that storyline and that universe that they've created, but they're usually transforming into people, and people can look like other people, so I guess we could argue that that's possible. I don't know if the shapeshifters, even in that fictional world, transform into other animals, but we definitely have, for example, in Harry Potter, we have Professor McGonagall who regularly becomes a cat, and other such things. I can't do that. And again, I would love to be able to do that, but I can't do that. Dang it, why can't we do? Because that's not how it works. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about magic. It's not that. But I don't know. So I'm going to say no, that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about magic. But I'm not going to say that that doesn't exist. But I will say that I don't know any, and that I've never seen it happen. Now, on the other side of the coin, there are some things that some of us might think is pretty impossible that I do know exists. I have seen someone make an item fly across the room with nothing but their mind. So telekinesis. I've seen it happen. Very rarely. I also know a lot of people who claim to be able to do it who have never been able to do it in front of anyone. But I'm also not the kind of person to be like, oh, prove it, like prodding people and making them do it. The person that I've seen done it was not showing off. It was in a very organic situation where they were concentrating very closely on something privately while the rest of us were just in the room and things started happening. But I am one of those people that I only believe in things like that if I've seen it or if I can actually do it. So there are some other things, like things that I want to keep private because they're private experiences to me. But for example, I worked with a group of witches a couple of years ago, and we did an exercise where we were manifesting something, right? We were visualizing something in our mind's eye, a symbol of something, an item that would be like a mental cue to us. And then the idea was that when we see that show up in our lives, that we would take it as a sign. And so we all, we did it, and we expected, like maybe we'll be scrolling on Facebook and we'll see a picture of the thing, or we'll dream about the thing. And it just so happened that for me, I was taking a walk outside, and my item happened to be an animal that I thought I had made up in my head. I've never seen an animal that looked like this in real life, but I was walking outside after I did this, and that animal, that creature, physically showed up in front of me. And I thought I had gone crazy for a second because, again, I thought I had made it up. I didn't know that this was a real animal, but it was something that, the symbols just came together in my head. I thought, I'm going to see it in a dream, I'm going to whatever. And it physically manifested in front of me. And at that moment, I was like, okay, I knew magic was real, but whoa, I've never had that real of an experience before. So things like that, before that, I might have believed, well, that's not physically possible. It's not going to physically manifest in front of you. You're going to see it in a dream. But I've had it happen, right? So now that I've had it happen, I know that something like that is possible. So, I don't think that I literally made it up out of thin air and that it manifested in the world because I thought of it. I think that I had never seen it before, and my subconscious or my collective unconscious drew from something that really does exist in the world and then increased the odds of it crossing my path to be a message for me. I do not think that I made up, this isn't it, but for example, if I made up a pink polka-dotted elephant crossed with a griffin is already a mixture of animals, so I don't know why that came to my head. But if I had made that up and that manifested, that would be some cool magical stuff. But that's not what I mean. I mean, let's say, for example, that it was like a dog, but a specific crossbreed of dog in a specific coloring that I've never seen before. That dog could actually exist somewhere, but I just never knew it. It was more along those lines. And again, neither of those are the exact thing. I want to keep it the exact thing more private. But I thought I would share that because that's one of the instances in my life where I've been like, whoa, okay, a new realm of magic has been shown to me where maybe before I didn't think that was possible, but it just happened in front of me, so now I know it is. So again, it's really hard to give, adequate feedback to this of how I would react or what I would say when I don't know the exact example. So I don't know what these people are claiming to do. If somebody comes up and claims that they can change a human into a frog, I'm not going to work with that person because I know that's not possible. And if they want to show it to me and they can do it, then I'll be like, well, that was a cool magic trick. But I think that's more stage magic, that's sleight of hand type stuff. That's not really what we do. And even if they could do that, that's just not really the kind of stuff I do. So I'd probably just be like, okay, you do you, but I'm not going to interact with those people. And if it's people online, writing about things, talking about things, and I don't believe them, then I can either look into it and, like, see if this really does happen, if it's really possible. Maybe, my mind is open. I'm like, okay, cool, maybe it's possible. But I'm not gonna automatically believe it and start claiming that I can do it. But especially if it's somebody online or whatever, I'm more likely to be like, okay, like, you can say whatever you want to say, and I'm gonna still be over here doing my thing. When it's someone that I am very close to, I might have more of a conversation with them to find out, like, okay, well, why do you say that you can do this? Like, is this something that you can do repeatedly? That you can show me? That, like, where is this coming from? Because, again, I like to keep a lot of things private, so I'm not the kind of person, like, I don't need people to prove things to me necessarily, but I would ask, because if it's someone that I'm going to try to work with closely and they think that they can do these things, then I want to get a sense of, okay, do they really have some really awesome power that I need to know where they're coming from on this, or are they confused about the realities of what this path is about? And I need to be able to have a conversation with them as a priestess and as a teacher to them to meet them where they are and figure out, like, okay, are they just confused and they think that we can do these crazy, amazing special effects movies things that are not really what we do? Or does this person have a unique power that I do not, that maybe I can learn from them, Like, so I would need to talk to them. But if it's someone just, like, in passing at a festival who's just, like, claiming they can do some stuff, I'm not going to worry about them so much. Maybe they can do that thing, maybe they can't. I did a review of Sybil Leek's book on my personal channel a while ago, Diary of a Witch, where she talks about having very specific future visions and stuff like that. Now, I can't do that, and I don't know a lot of people who can accurately predict the future and read people's minds and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that people can't do it. And I don't know for sure if Sybil Leek could or not, and I talked about this in my review video. I don't know, because I didn't know her. I wasn't there. But supposedly it's on recordings and she's done it in front of lots of people, whatever. But that's within the realm of, like, I can't do it and I don't know anyone who can do it. But sure, people out there can do it. I think that is within the realm of possibility. So something like that, I'm like, okay, like, maybe it's possible. I don't know. So, again, it depends. I would have to know the exact example of what someone is claiming before I could be like, I'm open to the possibility that maybe that's possible, or like, heck yeah, that's definitely possible, or heck no, never ever is that possible, and what are you on? Because we all want some of that, because we want to be able to transform into a cat and fly on a broom. I mean, really, we all want to, but we know we can't. That's not what it's about. That's not why I became a witch. It's just a side thing. We just like to talk about it. If you had superpowers akin to what your favorite witch characters have in movies, what would you pick? We talked about that a while ago when we talked about Charmed. Yeah, so I hope that gives you my basic opinion. And again, as with all things with me, it depends on the exact situation. I'm a pretty situational kind of person. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. This was a great question. And, yeah, I'm lucky, I guess, that I don't come across that super often. But I would just try to be polite. Like, I'm not going to call people out if it's not really going to affect me, whatever. But if it affects people that I'm teaching, or if it affects people negatively, I might try to figure it out in various ways. Okay, now I'm really done. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.